Hey book nerds, welcome to my channel. I'm a little bit late, but today I'm doing my most anticipated releases. So I do these videos every 3 months. This will be October till December. So this is just till the end of the year. This will be going up around about the 20th of October, I think. So quite a few of these are already out, but I still wanted to talk about them. So my first most anticipated release is 10 Blind Dates by Ashley Elston. This is a contemporary romance, which isn't my usual genre, but this is about a girl who, it's a Christmassy book. It's about a girl who is just broken up with her long-term boyfriend, and she goes to her grandparents' house, and her grandmother decides to set her up on 10 blind dates, but each blind date is set up by a different family member. And it's over the course of 10 days, so she dates like 10 random people chosen by different members of her family. This sounds really fun. It sounds like a perfect Christmas contemporary. I'll probably save it for December. Like the kind of contemporary romances with crazy setups, and this sounds exactly that, so hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. So that book was out the 1st of October, as is the next one, which is The Resurrection Girls by Ava Morgan. Sorry, it's a bit hard for you to see. I'm filming opposite my window. So this is a kind of fantasy horror book. I think it's more fantasy than horror. It's about this girl who meets this other girl, and there's like 3 generations of her family, and together they start writing to people on death row, but there's some kind of fantasy twist to do with the family, so I'm not sure what that is. The blurb doesn't say, but it sounds kind of spooky and mystical. I don't know if I'll get around to picking this up before the end of the year, but it sounds really cool, and I'm intrigued to see what people think of it. Next one I'm very excited for. This also comes out on the 1st of October, and this is The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. This is a horror book. It is about a woman who goes to her grandmother's house after her grandmother's died, and she's tasked with like cleaning out the house. But her grandmother was a hoarder, so it's a massive job. And when she's cleaning this house, she finds her grandfather's journal. In her grandfather's journal, there is kind of creepy horror things described to do with the house. And as she reads the journal, our main character starts to experience those horror things herself. You know, I love the haunted house trope. It sounds really creepy. It's got kind of elements of The Woman in Black with the clearing out the old house kind of thing. And I'm really excited to get my hands on this one. Next book I don't know a lot about, but it is Things We Say in the Dark by Kirsty Logan. I like the cover a lot. It's got like the pomegranate, which implies it's going to have something to do with like the Hades and Persephone myth, maybe. This is a collection of short stories. I believe they're all horror fantasy, but again bordering more on the horror side this time. And I know that Kirsty Logan was voted one of the top 10 queer writers of, I'm not sure if it's of the year, there's something on the Goodreads page about it, but I'm hoping quite a lot of these stories might be queer. I've heard some people talking about it, some horror YouTubers and stuff that I really like, so again, I don't really know anything about any of the stories, but it sounds good. The next book comes out on the 8th of October, and that is The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. So this is a kind of like sci-fi dystopian type thing. So in this world, when girls turn 16, they are believed to emit pheromones that make them absolutely irresistible to men and drive adult women crazy with jealousy. So, and when they turn 16, they're sent away for the year. It's called the Grace Year. All these teenage girls are sent off together into this wilderness. So this book is about them being sent off into the wilderness, but the thing that caught my eye is it says at the end of the blurb that they have like dangers of poachers, people trying to kidnap them, but the real danger is from each other, and that's what I really like the sound of. It sounds like it's going to be about a group of teenage girls kind of fighting with each other and the kind of dangers of having those close female groups together, which I really like books that are based around female friendship, so this sounds really interesting to me. The next book comes out on the 18th of October, and that is The Dinner Party by R.J. Parker. I actually have an arc of this, so I really need to get around to reading it. This is a thriller about a dinner party, and it says that there are 8 people attending this party, and there are 8 secrets. And essentially the dinner guests start playing this game of trust. And apparently after this game is played, 2 people die, and the rest of them are kind of trapped in this scenario, fighting for their lives. It sounds really good. I love thrillers with a kind of closed room setting. I like the dynamic of people at parties, like dinner parties, and hopefully this one will be really good. I will let you know when what I think of it when I finally get around to reading the arc. It should be soon. The next book comes out on the 22nd of August, and that is Ghoster by Jason Arnopp. This is a horror book. This is about a woman who's meant to be moving in with her boyfriend Scott, but when she moves to his hometown to move in with him, he's not there. The only thing she can find is his phone, and when she hacks into his phone, she finds all these strange calls and messages and creepy ghost stuff, essentially. So obviously the title's like a play on being ghosted and actual ghosts. It is a horror book. I don't know much about this author. I've got that other book on my TBR, but I've not read it yet. But I think it's got a lot of praise, so hopefully this one will be quite interesting. I'm not sure, the premise isn't something I would usually pick up, but I've heard, again, some people whose opinions I really respect talking about it, so it's got me intrigued. Next we have another horror book. This comes out on the 29th of October, and it is The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek. This is by Rhett, McLaughlin and Neal. This has got a really cool cover. Again, apologies, you can't really see it that well. It's all these black horror covers. This is about a town where they have this reform school, and all the teenage boys kind of live in fear of this reform school because there's all these creepy rumours about it. And I think there's 3 friends, and they try to make like a horror movie together, and it goes wrong, and one of them gets sent off to this reform school. The other 2 team up with this girl to kind of break into the school and get him out, and also to find out what actually happens at the school, because there's supposed to be people who die there. This sounds really creepy. I love the setting of Bleak Creek. I think that's really cool. And yeah, again, creepy boarding schools are a horror trope thing that I really like the sound of. So this should be very atmospheric and great for winter. Next book is another arc I have. This comes out on the 31st of October, so Halloween, but it is The Secret Santa by Trish. I cannot pronounce her surname, so I'm just going to hold it up. I'm not going to read this probably until November just because it is Christmas themed, but this is a thriller. It's about a group of people who go to this remote mansion for their Christmas party. I think it's like an office or something. And there's a Secret Santa, but in the Secret Santa there is some kind of creepy gift which I think targets our main character, and like it's something to do with a secret from her past, like she did something or she killed someone, and this gift is like signifying that someone knows about it. And then I think thrillery stuff happens. I don't know if someone dies, I don't know if it's just someone tormenting our main character. I love like holiday themed thrillers, and I think I've read all the Christmas thrillers that have been published, and I haven't really found any that I've loved, but this sounded really interesting, and I like the idea of reading a dark seasonal book. On to November books now, and this next one is one that I've talked about before. It is The Toll by Neal Shusterman. This comes out on the 5th of November. This is maybe my most anticipated release of the entire year. It's the 3rd book in a series, it's the Scythe series, and essentially it's a dystopian world where people no longer die of any natural causes, but instead they're chosen randomly to be killed by scythes. And the plot of the first book is about these 2 people competing to become a scythe in this apprenticeship type deal. And I'm not going to talk about what any of the other 2 books are about, but The Toll is the final book, I believe. I'm really excited. Scythe was just kind of okay, Thunderhead's the second one, and I really loved that. So I'm hoping the 3rd one will be as good as the 2nd one. And the 2nd one did that thing where it absolutely shakes everything up. So I'm really excited to see how it all resolves itself, and yeah, I just want this book now. Next book also comes out on the 5th of November, and that is Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha and Ngan. I actually have an arc of this, and I'm so happy I got one. So I read Girls of Paper and Fire last year, I read it when I just started my booktube channel, and there was a bunch of people on Twitter who I read it with, and most of those people ended up not enjoying it. I did quite enjoy it. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars. I thought it was flawed, but had a lot of potential, and I wasn't sure if I was going to read the sequel, but I saw it on NetGalley, and I requested it, and I got it, and I realised how happy I was when I got it, and I do really want to read the sequel and find out what happens. This is a fantasy series. The first book is about, there's this king, so it's set in a world where there are demons who are like full on animal, there are half human, half demons, and then there are humans, and humans are like the lowest class, and the king selects these 8 girls, I think it is meant to be essentially his concubines, but our main character is one of them. She's selected as like an extra paper girl, and revolution type stuff happens. There's far better descriptions of the plot than that. I'm probably going to reread it before I reread the second one, because I don't remember it too well. But yeah, it's a decent fantasy book. It does have lots and lots of trigger warnings for sexual abuse and that kind of thing, so do check out those before you read it. But yeah, I'm excited I got an arc of the sequel. The next book also comes out on the 5th of November, and that is Winterwood by Shea, Ernshaw? Shea or Ernshaw. This is a witchy book. So this is by the author of The Wicked Deep, which I did read. I did really enjoy. I read it quite a while ago now. I don't remember it too well. This is unrelated apart from the fact that they're both books about witches. This sounds like a really cool, again, wintry fantasy read. I love reading fantasy in November. And it's about a magical woods, and there's like a terrible snowstorm, and I think our main character's a witch, and she finds this guy who has survived this snowstorm, but he shouldn't have, and then there's all these kind of creepy magical fantasy things going on. I really want to read this because it's an atmospheric fantasy book essentially, and it's witchy, and I've really got into witchy literature. Witch literature, that doesn't work. But yeah, so again, if I don't read it this winter, I'll probably save it till next winter, but I'm definitely hoping to read it soon. The final book I'm going to talk about comes out on the 10th of December, and it is The Dead Girls Club by Damien and Angelica Walters. This is perhaps the book I'm second most excited for the year, and I really wanted an arc. I got an email from the publisher offering me an arc on NetGalley, but when I clicked on it I could only wish for an arc, and I never got it. So I emailed them and I never got a response, but I really want an arc of this if I can get one. So this is about a group of girls who are all part of this club that are obsessed with like serial killers and monsters, and there is this legend of the Red Lady who I think is meant to be a kind of Bloody Mary-esque thing. So our main character is called Heather, and she had a best friend, and her best friend believed that this Red Lady legend was real, and according to the blurb it ended up killing her. But according to the blurb, Heather killed her, and now creepy stuff is happening, horror stuff. I don't know if someone's worked out what Heather's done, if the Red Lady's coming back. It's just got so many cool sounding horror elements. Again, loads of horror booktubers that I really like have got arcs of this, so I cannot wait to see what they think of it when they read it. But yeah, it's got all kinds of great horror stuff, and I love the sound of it. So yeah, so those are all the books until the end of the year that I am most anticipating. There are far more that I want to read. I will link my previous videos for this entire year below, and I will also link my Goodreads shelf where I have all the 2019 releases that are on my radar, and ones I've already read and stuff are all on that shelf. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, it helps me out massively. Let me know if you want to read any of these releases, if you've got arcs of them. Let me know what you're anticipating as well, if there's any I haven't mentioned, and I hope to see you next time.